Yeah. Pictures. All right.
Hey, good morning. Detroit in black and white. I'm Adolph Mongo. Vanessa Moss, attorney and political consultant. Good morning.
Good morning.
Allan Lengel, co-founder of Deadline Detroit, by way of Washington Post, Detroit News, and the Eagle American.
Eagle American. You gotta love that.
Well, let's get right down to it. It's been a long week. Outrage of the week. Vanessa.
Okay, well, I have two. One is of a personal nature. This morning, I was going to meet with my personal trainer. 5:53. I'm traveling east on East Jefferson, and I'm at a light. There's nobody on the street for me. There's no one on my left hand side, and all of a sudden, I feel a bump. Someone hits my car. Hits my vehicle. And the guy that was driving the vehicle, he jumps out of his vehicle, the guy that hits me, he jumps out his vehicle immediately and comes up on the side. There was a vehicle behind him. They had pulled over to the side and was on the side of my vehicle. And of course, I had 5 million things going on in my head.
Right.
And I immediately called someone on my phone so that they could hear. And then I was like, Vanessa, do not get out this vehicle. Absolutely. So I went on through the light. But by this time, the person that hit me had pulled in front of me. And so he's driving slow. And then he pulls over on the side of the street as if to beckon me to stop. And I didn't. So I talked to someone on my way here this morning, and they said, that this is what they're doing now, that they won't hit you really hard, that they will, bump your car. And then what they'll do is they'll rob you, take your car or whatever. But I'm just outraged that a guy thought that it was okay, not just to hit my vehicle, but you thought it was safe to come around. Even if I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, you're going to come up to the side of my vehicle as if I'm going to get out of my vehicle and talk to you. No, that was 5:53 a.m. this morning. I know some people are going to say, well, why were you out there early in the morning? I was minding my business, going to take care of my business. So that was my outrage one. My second outrage has to do with a school, HBCU in North Carolina. And it's the HBCU is, what was the name of this? North Carolina A&T. And there was a 28-year-old Caucasian man who went on campus. He had knives, he had guns, he had over 1,000 rounds of ammunition. And he's on the campus. And what's so outrageous is that the powers that be that's there on the campus didn't find it important enough, not only not to tell the students, but not to tell their parents. And the reason I say the parents is because my son went to HBCU. And as a parent, they think it's very important to stay in contact with the parents. So I was always getting text messages or emails about what was going on with my son on campus. And so that not only is it outrageous, it's very scary. So it was scary at the college campus, and it was scary on East Jefferson this morning. That was my outrage.
And East Jefferson is near the UD Law School.
Yeah, right above the UD Law School. Right there, there's a little curve.
That was the same area where former police chief Craig said he was almost hijacked. You got to be real careful. These people bump and hit you in the back, and then they want to take your car. It's unbelievable that what's happening in the city, and I say this because when you got a police department that is undermanned, basically when they using vigilantes to capture rapists
Right.
and all that.
Right.
You know we have an issue.
Right.
You know,
right.
we building all these new apartments, condos, etc. But you need to have some more police officers.
And people, people should, listen. What? Really? You have to have had a mother to get here on Earth. You probably have sisters. You thought that was okay? It was terrible. And I'm telling you, I was shook this morning. Yeah, I'm going to make a police report when I leave here because I was able, because he was driving so slow, as if I'm going to bump into his vehicle. I was trying to take a picture. I couldn't take a picture, but I did memorize the license plates. I can't tell you the make and model of the vehicle. But I can tell you what the young man looked like a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's important that people, when that happens, that you don't stop.
Right.
That, and particularly if you're in Detroit and you know where there's a police station or some public place, to make sure, and not a gas station, because there's carjackings in gas stations all the time.
And they'll lock the door. The people that run the gas stations, they won't let you in.
And so, if you know of a police station, where the police station is, you're gonna look it up on your phone.
I couldn't even think this morning. I think
it's scary for anybody. It's hard to really think straight.
Yeah, and people, please don't call me and ask me what was I doing out early that morning. I go to the gym. I go and work out in the morning.
Right.
Minding my business.
Right. Yeah, that's horrible.
Okay, Allan.
I've got a few, and I said this yesterday on our show, the week that was. It really bugs the shit out of me that the nepotism that we're seeing in ML Elric did a piece in the Free Press, and we aggregated on Deadline Detroit. We're still posting a few stories here and there on Deadline Detroit, but we have Coleman Young, who I like Coleman. Coleman did podcasts for Deadline Detroit. I got to know Coleman. I really like him. I think he's a smart guy. I really have high hopes for him on council, but he hired his mother as his chief of staff for $87,000. I mean, it looks shady. It's just, and then we have.
What you mean it looks shady?
It is shady. Angela Whitfield Calloway, whose daughter helped run her campaign. She hired her as a communications director, and she tells the Free Press, well, I know she's got a good work ethic. Well, I'm sorry. There's a lot of smart people.
Wasn't that the one that said she was bringing something fresh to the council? Right. It won't be business as usual. What's
wrong with family, working for family? What is wrong with that? I would trust God rest her soul. I would trust my mother to work for me. I would trust my son to work for me.
No, you know what? It looks shady. It looks inside.
How is it shady?
It's shady.
You're getting a real shady.
Because a lot of counties, a lot of government agencies have nepotism rules. I worked at the Washington Post, which was really a really strict nepotism that nobody could be hired. If you were hired, your relative couldn't be hired for anything in the newsroom. It just looks, it's a bad look. It's like, let me ask you this. You do something and your mother says, well, I don't know. And he says, Mom, I just gave you a job. Just, hush, hush. Or, it's just improper. It's like when Ivanka,
you don't punish. You don't suspend. You have problems. Now, you also put
the workers.
You remember Sawyer, that was the mayor of Chicago?
Yeah.
He was only the mayor for a short time. They found out that he had relatives making almost $2 million that he got jobs for.
Generational wealth.
That's some bullshit. You don't believe in that.
It's total. And then Janice Winfrey also hired a son and a daughter. It's like it's bullshit. There are people out there. There's qualified people in the city of Detroit who've gotten great educations. University of Michigan, Michigan State. They come back to the city. They're
not even smart. You know what they could have did? I'm just telling you, this is how you play the game. Okay, you a council person, and I'm a council person. Lengel, you know what? My mama is good, or whatever. You got an opening? You hire her, and I'm hiring. That's how the game was played. Mel Ravis, Mary Ann Pathy, all of them played that game. Do I think it's a great game? No, but they made sure that they didn't have the niece or the nephew. Your whole staff is run by
you're saying
your family.
People should just move.
No, I'm saying
because that's what it sounds like. It's the same thing.
Wait a minute, I'm saying
they still get from the same trough.
It's a good thing.
No, I didn't say it was a good thing. I'm saying it wouldn't be a news thing. Right. Now, listen,
it's a lot of stuff. One day, don't nobody care about that.
Yes, they do care, because when they first hired his mama, his mama, it's like I ran his campaign. Mother? Coleman. I know you will. If he was won for mayor, then she'd have been the deputy mayor. Well, I guess that would have been all right. With his cousin gonna be the chief of staff. His aunt is gonna run the police department. It can't happen.
But you know what? I think that when he ran for mayor, that was some of the people. People were concerned that maybe his mother will, be the mayor ex post facto or whatever.
Well,
but my thing is this.
One thing, she qualified.
It's the family and friends plan. It went on in a previous administration. We had a previous mayor. Somebody that you work for. Well, you work for plenty of these mayors.
Kwame?
Yeah.
He had all his cousins. That's why he got in trouble. That's why he got in trouble. That's why he got in trouble.
We have a city council where we have one council member currently in prison. We have Andre Spivey, who's currently in prison. We had Gabe Leland, who should be in prison. We had two other council members who are under investigation, FBI investigation. Here it is. We thought we were going to have a fresh start, and here it is.
The same shit.
We have two new council members who have hired relatives, and it's the same bullshit. It's like I'm a resident of the city of Detroit. I want good government. I want honest government. I want transparent government.
What makes you think that it's not going to be good?
It ain't.
That it's not honest. It's not transparent.
It's like Trump hiring Ivanka and Jared.
And guess what?
That's why he got indicted.
That's why he got indicted. No, he did not.
Because they all criminals. They all thieves.
No, there's allegations. Those are allegations.
But his daddy's a thief. His daddy went to jail.
Look, somebody said my papa was a Rolling Stone. Did that mean I'm a Rolling Stone? I'm just saying.
Fruit don't fall far from the tree. But anyway, let's move on.
All right, we got a few minutes before we have Huel Perkins coming on.
Anyway, my outrage is just a composite of all the crazy fascists that's in this country, from the school in Florida who banned the Diary of Anne Frank because they didn't like, it was too graphic, to the white supremacists in Tennessee, birth of the Ku Klux Klan, who expelled two of the young brothers, and let the by one vote let the white woman stay on. But the whole point in that body, they had somebody beat up his wife, child abuse, guy pissed on another colleague's chair, under federal investigation. They never did anything to him. So listen, shame on you, Republicans in Tennessee. And now here we go to Texas. Federal judge says, okay, I'm banning the birth control abortion pill.
Right.
But then there's a federal judge in the state of Washington said, bullshit, you can't ban that. So now we got this going up to the Supreme Court. You know where that stands with crooked Clarence Thomas. His wife telling them what to do.
You call him crooked.
Crooked. But anyway, we got to take a break. Okay. We're gonna run this break, and then we're gonna come back and continue our conversation with Huel Perkins. Let it rip.
Nearly 30,000 vacant lots all over the city of Detroit are for sale right now. That's right. Nearly 30,000 vacant lots are available now, starting at just $100. The lot next to your house or the lot down the street. Make it yours today in just a few simple clicks. Find out if it is available by visiting buildingdetroit.org. At the Detroit Land Bank Authority, side lots are just $100 and neighborhood lots sell for $250. You can apply and pay online today by visiting buildingdetroit.org. And if you don't see the lot you're looking for, call our offices. Our phone number is 313-974-6869. Again, that is 313-974-6869. We have already sold more than 21,000 vacant lots to Detroit homeowners. Make today your turn by visiting buildingdetroit.org.
So when they come and boom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he is not answering. So, well, Huel is not here yet.
Okay.
So I guess maybe what we can talk about is the Tennessee. We have a little video.
Justin Pearson, Justin Jones, and Gloria Johnson.
Yeah.
They made them household names.
Yeah.
And listen, did you hear them speak?
Yes,
all three.
I did.
I'm gonna tell you, they are
very moving.
Republicans created some folk heroes.
And you know what? What they didn't expect is those protesters to go, and the Republicans didn't expect for those protesters to go. Not at all.
So we have a little video there on the Tennessee lawmakers.
This morning, growing outrage after Tennessee's Republican-controlled House voted to expel 2 Democrats. State Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson were expelled on a party-line vote after they led a gun reform protest in the House chamber last week in response to the school shooting in Nashville that left 6 people, including 3 children, dead.
Just because you don't get your way, you can't come to the well, bring your friends, and throw a temper tantrum with an adolescent bullhorn.
There's something in the decorum of this body that says it's okay to call that a temper tantrum, to call people we disagree with on the issues, to say that all they want is attention. But I'll tell you what, I don't personally want attention. What I want is attention on the issue of gun violence. But instead, we're here with the resolution you put up talking about expelling me for advocating for ending gun violence in the state of Tennessee.
Man, you know what this reminds me of? In 1968, Julian Bond got elected state senator in Georgia. They refused to seat him because he was against the war in Vietnam. It went up to the Supreme Court, who forced them. But, I got no faith in this Supreme Court. Now, what's crazy about all this shit in Tennessee, now they can get reappointed to the seat until a special election.
All right.
Are the Republicans going to say, no, we're not going to recognize that appointment and make them run in the special election? Mm-hmm. Then they win the special election. Are they going to still try to block it? Man, anytime you got a supermajority and they start kicking out members of the opposition, and say that we had a supermajority
that people put in office, they exercise the constitutional right to vote. These people they're there at the will of the people, and you telling them, forget what the will of the people want. We're kicking you out. That's pretty effed up.
Well, it is effed up, and you laying groundwork for if the Democrats got a supermajority in one state. So I'm gonna start kicking out the nutty Republicans, but we know what they're doing in some of these GOP states: Tennessee, Oklahoma, Utah, Montana, South Dakota. Governor of South Dakota was trying to tell the Native Americans on the reservation to do certain things, and they like, you got no authority here. I'm gonna send the National Guard. That's like, these folks are, on one hand, they for states' rights. On the other hand, they want to intervene from Congress.
Right.
Jim Jordan and all that, those idiots. So, yeah, Tennessee has galvanized a group of folks in that state, conservative, Republican mothers and fathers, with African Americans and activists who only goal is to make their schools safe for their children. What is it going to take for some of these folks to do something about the gun violence.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Let me check on Huel. Let me go check.
Okay.
Check, see what's going on.
Okay. But that is unbelievable. But let's get back to talking about nepotism in city government, and it's been done a long time.
I don't remember a time when it has not been done.
But it's been done. You know, even with friends and families and stuff. But it ain't been this blatant
to do the job.
But it ain't been this blatant. And you know, you look back at when John Kennedy was elected president, his daddy, who was a bootlegger and a mobster or whatever, said, you know who you need to hire as your attorney general. His brother.
Your brother, right.
He's 32, 33 years old. And so he hired him. So, you know, shit. But so it's nothing new. It is nothing
It's
new.
nothing new, and therefore people don't see anything wrong. It says, so we have somebody on that made a statement on Facebook. It says Tennessee is now a blight on America's attempt of democracy, and tell me how stupid, blatant this racist act was. 2 black legislators go, white, blonde-haired legislators stay. And this is from Andrea Blake.
Yeah.
What y'all think about that? Well, I mean, we talked about,
and to Gloria
the two
Johnson,
guys,
the
two brothers, right?
She said what it was.
She did. She talked about it. She did.
She said what it was.
She was like,
her father. She's the daughter of a FBI agent, a former FBI agent, retired, I guess. She'd been a school teacher for 27 years. You know, so she knew what was going on, and they didn't hide the fact that, you know what, we're gonna kick them out.
You so pissed off about whatever your Republican agenda is. You say that you know you're supposed to be representing those people in Tennessee. Am I correct? Right?
But you don't give
a damn about the kids.
But you know how to.
You don't give a damn about
stop a lot of that.
It's just ridiculous.
You know how you stop a lot of that. These kids that go to the University of Tennessee that play football and basketball, boycott them. Let them. You stop boycotting Tennessee. Don't give them the NCAA, no Super Bowl, none of that shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? So this is what y'all want. You can have it. You can give the state to Kid Rock and his folks. That's where he live at, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Kid Rock. Yeah, Kid Rock is down in Nashville. He's got I was down there for a conference. He's got this triple-decker bar and there's music and a lot of drunk people. That whole that downtown Nashville scene is crazy. But I have not been able to reach Huel, and I did send him a link. I checked. He may have had some family emergency, so we haven't heard from him. We'll try him again.
And he may come on later on in the show.
I apologize.
So it wasn't false advertisement, people. For those who pay attention to my page in the Detroit Black and White page and Deadline Detroit, it was not a ruse. He was scheduled to be on the show, but
I did.
He's not here.
I spoke to him the other day, and the idea was talking about what he's doing now. And also talking about the state of TV, particularly in Detroit, which is
well, you know the state of TV now. They're going into the elementary schools and hiring folks.
You have to start somewhere. What's wrong with training them?
This is a big market.
You know, every time you guys say something, I'm going to take the opposite.
Well, taking the opposite, but you're wrong.
Listen,
it's like this.
Wait a minute, it's not about running.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You're an attorney.
I am, and I look at it a different way.
We journalists, and we look at it a different way. You went to fucking law school. Oh, when did I become a journalist? Before you were fucking born.
Weren't you guys in American Eagle, right? That's when you started.
He's working in Colorado and in Maryland.
Before that, where did you train?
Kalamazoo.
Where did I train?
When did you start training? We
started in high school. We were working for the high school paper.
But the fucking Free Press didn't hire me as a journalist. And when I was in high school,
you think they hired high school students. That is an exaggeration.
Well, that's it. It is an exaggeration, but I'm talking about they paying these. Listen, they paying these kids. They paying these kids $15 an hour. You can go to Burger King and make what they paying on that Channel 7.
White Castle's paying $15.
Yeah,
I see right on the boulevard near
right.
Yeah, on Woodward near West Grand Boulevard.
Right.
And I think they're paying $21 at Target. But let me say
there was a time, Vanessa. There was a time when you didn't have to go to law school. All you had to do was pick up a book. But then they say too many idiots is reading 5 pages and they become lawyers. So they put some rules and regulations. Same way with journalists and stuff. But now it got to the point where the companies, and I'm not knocking the young people that's getting the jobs. I'm knocking Gannett and all these places making millions and millions of dollars, and then they want to pay $2 now. Well, they don't even want to have a education reporter. They don't cover City Hall like they do. It's just some bullshit.
Well, what I was to say, what we're seeing in the market, the TV market now, is that it seems like they're bringing in less experienced people, and it starts to appear more like it's a smaller market, like you see in Flint, Lansing. Detroit is a big market. People desire to be in a market the size of Detroit, but they're saving money. They're getting rid of the more experienced reporters and bringing in. And
they're using a lot of footage that it's not even local anymore. So, half the news is coming from someplace else.
But this is the thing. A lot of people get their news from social media. So maybe they feel as if there's no there is not a
we in trouble then. We in trouble.
I'm just saying.
We in trouble. I'm just saying. Because once you on social media, whatever they say, people believe.
But wait a minute. We all choose to believe what we want to believe. Okay, let's be clear. We all choose to believe what we want to believe. But we're talking about the media.
That means she's a legal liar.
I believe that Biden won, but there are some people who believe that he did not.
What?
People choose to believe. I mean,
Biden won, Grandpa won.
We can only.
I'm just using that as an example.
But my point, facts.
Whoops.
But what I'm saying to you is this: maybe because of social media, that is the reason why these big companies are saying, "Listen, we don't have to hire these people making all this money because they're getting their news on social media." I'm just saying that may be it.
It's bullshit.
It very well may be, but that's just the truth.
Believe that.
And I'll
don't tell me what I believe what I want to believe.
No, you don't believe
I'll speak for you all. Look, at some point, did
he ask you to speak for him?
Yeah, I'm going to because he's supposed to be here, but there may have been some family.
I don't know if you had the power of attorney to speak for him, and I don't know if
he
you
went to law school, and
I know that.
I don't even believe the law there. If that's, I don't even believe the law is legal. If that's what they say.
I had a client a couple of weeks ago who said that he was part of what's that name? What they call a sovereign citizen.
Yeah, I am a sovereign citizen of the state of Mongo. So you know what?
I think what Huel and I have had conversations over time, and one of the things he was concerned about is investigative reporting, that their station was losing investigative reporters. And when I came back here from Washington in 2011, I thought TV news was pretty solid. They had a lot of investigative reporters in 7, 2, 4, and a lot of them are gone now. And some of them are doing investigative reporting, but it's not the real investigative reporting that we know. And so it's the level, the quality has gone down, but it's like the budgets have gotten tighter, but I don't know if it's because there's less advertising or the bean counters, as they say, are squeezing for more and more profits.
Or you look on a newscast and the lead-off story is puppy returned after being missing for 2 weeks. Who gives a fuck about a puppy being returned?
The person who lost their puppy for 2 weeks.
We're going to take a break and come back.
Share, subscribe. Share, subscribe.
We're going to come back. We're going to come back after this break.
Detroit in black and white.
Nearly 30,000 vacant lots all over the city of Detroit are for sale right now. That's right, nearly 30,000 vacant lots are available now, starting at just $100. The lot next to your house or the lot down the street. Make it yours today in just a few simple clicks. Find out if it is available by visiting buildingdetroit.org. At the Detroit Land Bank Authority, side lots are just $100 and neighborhood lots sell for $250. You can apply and pay online today by visiting buildingdetroit.org. And if you don't see the lot you're looking for, call our offices. Our phone number is 313-974-6869. Again, that is 313-974-6869. We have already sold more than 21,000 vacant lots to Detroit homeowners. Make today your turn by visiting buildingdetroit.org.
Okay, we are back.
Yeah, we're back. You know what? Let's talk about you supported him, Allan, didn't you? Donald John Trump. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
The indictment.
Let's talk the indictment. We have a little clip here from Jon Stewart first.
It's a bubble case. It's not a slam dunk. Commentators across the spectrum are saying, boy, there's really not much in here. Raises all kinds of questions about the legal theory behind this case. An unimpressive document.
Only our media, those cloistered, short attention span, own ass spelunking. No? Defenders of democracy. Find a president paying hush money to a Playboy model and an adult film star, and then cooking the books to help himself win an election. Underwhelming and boring.
Here's it's interesting. Yesterday we had Michael Bellato on the week that was, former federal prosecutor, prosecuted the Kwame case.
Is that a show we should be watching?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Sister publications or whatever. But he was saying that he thought, really, I mean, there were a lot of felonies in there. He was saying they're really all 34 misdemeanors and that we should have never charged, that it's bullshit. My feeling is, okay, there are bigger cases out there. The Fulton County down in Atlanta is a big case. The document case, obstruction, where Trump lied, that's a big case. And the January 6th thing is a big case. But people say, okay, these are, election laws. Well, we set up election laws to keep the integrity of our elections, and they may not be the sexiest violations, but they're important. And people say, oh, we don't want to, treat them like everyone else. Well, other people get charged with those charges. There are laws on our books. They're in for a reason. And this guy, not only, he hid the money, he hid it in all these different ways. Well, no, they have records.
Allegedly.
Well,
No, allegedly.
we can skip the alleged.
Right.
Allegedly.
And then on top of that,
there are allegations that haven't been proven.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
But this is not a fucking court.
Let me say this.
This is not a court.
But let me say this.
He's a criminal.
Let me say this.
He's a criminal.
Listen, I am of the opinion that prosecutors, I don't care if it's the feds, if it's the district attorney, state prosecutors, they always pile on. They cast a wide net to see what they can catch. And so I think that they overcharge, and that's what they do. I don't care who it is. And so 34, I'm like, okay, 34, let's see what happens. And I think you and I had a conversation last night about
didn't they do that to Kwame?
Well, and they got some, and some of them they didn't get. But there have been instances when they've come up with nothing. We don't know because we really don't know what the evidence is. We, that there are some leaks and people are doing a little bit of talking, but we really don't know what they have. We know what the charges are.
We do know. We know the skeleton of what the indictment. I read through some of the indictment there. There's a lot of him creating these fake accounts.
But a jury gonna decide whether or not that 34 counts, or a judge that you can do it. I always thought that when they charged Kwame with perjury, And and I had judges tell me to say they purge themselves every day in homicide cases and never get charged. So I asked Leonard Thompson, I said, what made him so special? He said, well, he's the mayor of Detroit, etc. So,
he's a lawyer,
and he should have known better. But you never charge.
We're held to a higher standard.
Right. So
he's
Trump,
the mayor.
And Trump was the president. So he should have known better.
Look, when you are crooked, if you are a shady person, you're a shady business person, don't run for president, because you don't want to put your
That means nobody should run for
Well,
president.
you don't want to
remember Wilbur Mills?
That means nobody should run for president.
What happened to Wilbur Mills? You're too young to know about Wilbur Mills, right?
Yes.
Well, he was he Speaker of the House, or not the Speaker? He was the majority leader. A Republican. He got drunk one night, had a stripper with him at downtown DC. Killed his career. Yeah. Gary Hart. They were running for president. They found him on a boat with a hot mama. He had to drop out.
It's always a woman to take him down.
Senator John Edwards.
He made the baby at the Ponce train.
It's always a woman that takes him down. That's terrible. That means there's power in the
what?
But you want to talk about here's Senator Edwards out of North Carolina, got a presidential candidate, got charged with basically
they killed his
money.
Career.
Yeah. He was paying off a woman who he had a baby out of wedlock with, it sounds so old school now to say he had a baby out of wedlock. It sounds like out of the 50s.
He got a baby mama. That's what we say now. He has a BM. But this is the thing, though. Trump is very unique. Did you guys see where he doesn't have a mugshot? They made up a mugshot, put it on a T-shirt. He's selling these T-shirts for $36 a piece, and they sold out.
It's all about the money.
I want one of those.
He is. We were talking about the world today. We're talking about the media. Listen, he is playing he's in the public arena. I didn't do anything. They're picking on me. This is a political witch hunt. Listen, I don't blame him. If I'm representing him, that's exactly what you do. That's exactly what you do. But you know what is also shameful? Is these people throwing money at this dude for his legal fees.
The ones that
can't afford it. The man who only pays $750 in taxes. Now, one thing he did say, he was like, I'm smarter than her. He's talking about Hillary Clinton. Perhaps he is.
Okay.
He's slick.
2-time impeached president, been indicted president.
And we still talking about him, and Biden is in office.
Oh, yeah, grandpa, But, I'm going to tell you, I predict that the 2024 presidential election is going to be a repeat. Grandpa versus criminal. That's Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. But I'm just waiting to see who he picks as his running mate.
Who?
Trump. It ain't gonna be Mike Spence.
You don't think it's gonna be Lake from Arizona?
She's nutty as a fruitcake.
That's what he likes.
Well, he might.
That's what he likes.
Well, if he wants the real
it's
nut,
not going to be DeSantis for sure.
Wait a minute. You know what? If you want the real nut, you gotta in Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I knew you were going to say her, but
she's the real nut. She's the real nut.
Yeah. So, and you have nuts who follow nuts.
But I'm gonna tell you, if Biden. 30-40% of the people don't want Joe Biden.
So they
Democrats.
say now.
Democrats. I'm not talking about Republicans.
Right.
Who do you have? They building up your girl from Lansing.
Oh yeah.
Right. Gretchen Whitmer. And she getting a lot of love from the Democrats nationally.
A whole lot of love.
Yeah.
Stabenow, and they paved the way.
Wait a minute. Let's back up just a little bit.
What?
Are you implying, sir, here on air, that they're building Whitmer up to take the place of
I'm saying if
VP
Joe Biden
Harris?
if Joe Biden don't run.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's be clear.
No, listen, who cares a fuck about Harris? The worst, she's the worst.
Listen,
saw her in Tennessee.
I'm not doing that.
Somebody
stuck about a sister like that.
I'm gonna talk about the
we're
sister.
We're not gonna talk about a sister like that.
She Asian. I'm gonna stick a cattle prod up her butt. And somebody did, and she was energized. Biden must have did something to her because she got to Tennessee. She's been the worst. She's been invisible.
I don't think that is true.
She's the worst.
I'll say this about she has. I think she has been a disappointment, and she's had a hard time keeping staff.
What do you guys expect for her to do? What does the public expect for her to do?
Let me say this. She's had, and I know people who know, she's had a hard time keeping her staff. She's not lived up to expectations, and I don't know why. I want her to succeed, but
listen,
I think she's
she's
not the first vice president who hasn't shined.
Right.
I stopped liking her.
Absolutely.
I stopped liking her when she was running for president, and somebody said, you was messing around with Willie Brown, who used to be Speaker of the House.
I didn't like the way she played him.
I arrest him.
Right. I didn't like that. I agree with you there.
Bitch,
I didn't like.
He the one.
No, you can't call her no name like that.
Listen. She gonna dump him, and he made her shit.
By the way,
you don't call her no B like that. I as a woman, I can't sit here and you can't do that.
No,
that was not.
Yuel is trying to connect here. He just
okay, great. He's trying to connect.
He's out of town. He's trying to connect. Hopefully, we'll keep trying.
We just have we have a Miles Wilson. I think that name is familiar to you guys. He says, "Great show this morning" with an exclamation point.
Okay, Miles.
Right, thank you.
That's my man.
Thanks for watching. So, but yeah, I mean, look, Whitmer is, the question is, there's no way Biden can run again and not keep Kamala.
Exactly.
You just can't do that. It looks horrible. And plus,
Roosevelt got rid of 3 vice presidents.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah. But that was in 19 what?
Don't matter what it was.
Matter.
Lincoln made the mistake and got a drunk as a president and a racist. And he got rid of the first. Listen, I'm saying he got rid of one president and went and got a white supremacist. And listen, a horrible mistake. They picked Harry Truman because they thought he was an idiot. Right. Turned out to be pretty slick, pretty smart.
Right.
Yeah.
They underestimated him.
Nixon
definitely
was a crook, and they was gonna kick him off the ticket, but he cried. I only bought
Checkers.
He only gave my baby some dog and shit. And listen, she's terrible. I'm sorry.
It's unfortunate, but you know what? Gretchen Whitmer, to replace a woman of color with a white woman is not.
Do that.
I didn't say. I did not say.
I asked you if you applied. You said no.
No.
So why'd you bring her up?
Because they pushing her
to do what?
To be a national figure.
Okay, a national figure.
She is a national.
She is a national
figure.
So a national figure to do what though?
She is.
Well, if Biden don't run.
He's running.
How you know? How you know? You talk to Grandpa?
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what I did. I'm gonna tell you what I did. I'm gonna tell you what I did. I have a crystal ball on my desk.
Yeah, right.
And I rubbed it this morning.
Right.
Well, I mean, he's certainly given every indication that he is running.
Your crystal ball, didn't you say James Craig was going to be the new governor? The coward of the county.
No, I said he wasn't going to be able to get his signatures. And I was right.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, can we all agree that she's been the worst?
I'm not going to say that she's been the worst. I'm not going to say that. I can't agree with you.
They had, when she was a senator, I'm going to tell you, they had to put the heat on her to hire they had to twist her arm for her to hire black staff. I'm just telling you. So yeah, she a sister from she went to Howard and all that. She did a Hanson Clark on us. Get elected. Hanson was a brother until he got to Congress. Then he became the first Asian American.
Okay,
I'm like, man.
We got Huel.
All right.
All right, let's bring him on. Let's bring him on.
Let it rip.
All right, Huel.
What's going on, guys?
We've been talking you up, saying no, we really do know him. It's
please.
We're not kidding you. So thanks so much for taking the time out. I just want to say Huel Perkins, who was worked at Fox 2 from 1989 to 2022, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Went to law school down in Louisiana and got plucked out to do TV and first in Baton Rouge, was it?
And I've spent the last month in Baton Rouge because my mom is 96 and ill, and so I spent the last month down there trying to take care of her. Okay. And
sorry to hear that.
Well, you know what? We all go through it. It's that time of our lives. I was talking to Allan about his mother and father recently too, and it's what we do. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to take care of our parents the same way they took care of us.
So, no question. It's good to see you, Huel. You look good.
As we
you look good too, man. You look good too. Let that beard grow, huh?
Yeah, listen. I'll see how long it get. I can go to Nashville and become a country singer.
So as they say in the old neighborhood, my old neighborhood, you're a mensch for doing what you're doing there. It's really
Huel, is that a Michigan State?
That is, okay. But I've got this in many colors. I've got an LSU at Jersey. I've got Michigan State, like at University of Michigan. I've got Southern University. My family has been connected to two major institutions of higher learning, both Southern and LSU. My father graduated from Southern in 1947, denied admittance to LSU because of his race, ended up going to Northwestern. My mother and father getting their master's, and my father getting his PhD from Northwestern University. Came back to Baton Rouge, taught at Southern for 25 years, became a member of the Carter administration. And then LSU suddenly said, hey, why don't you come back here and work for us at LSU? So he became executive chancellor of LSU. He eventually ran the school that denied him admittance in 1947.
That's unbelievable.
And to this day, if you go online and type in the words Huel D. Perkins Fellowship, you will find a $750,000 scholarship fund that has paid for dozens of students to go to LSU to get their PhD degrees, their terminal degrees in whatever field they want to, as long as they meet the requirements. We give them a full ride. And I've met some of them here in Detroit, but it's wonderful that
But you know what? Those are real true trailblazers. I got a scholarship offer to Southern out of high school.
All right.
Run track and play football. But listen, I wasn't going down there. Football. Listen, my football days ended after high school. But you're absolutely right. Those states was not letting black folks in. Mississippi say, well, you can't go to Ole Miss, but we'll pay your way to Harvard.
Well, look, that's what they did with my parents. Same thing. But over time, LSU realized its mistake and brought him back. And right now, LSU has its first black president.
Wow.
The only black president in the SEC. So it's wonderful. Things have changed. They're getting better, but it's tough. We're in the fight every day, every hour, but it's getting better.
So Huel, a lot of people, one of the questions we're going to talk about the state of TV in Detroit and in general, but also people want to know, do you miss being on the air? Have you made the adjustment or?
Not at all. Not at all. My wife will tell you that I am the happiest retiree she's ever seen, and I've loved every minute. I longed for the day when I could do whatever I want, whenever I wanted to do it.
Right.
And I got that for maybe about 2 or 3 weeks, and then my mother fell
Oh yeah,
and broke her hip. And so I rushed down to Louisiana, and I've been going back and forth ever since. But again, it's a great joy. It's not a burden, and I still get a chance to travel. I've been to New York and seen some plays, gone to the U.S. Open.
okay.
Had hoped to be at Augusta,
Okay.
but
Are you a golfer?
I absolutely love retirement, and I'm still actively involved in numerous charities in and around Detroit.
Now you were in TV for a long time, and you and I had some discussions over the years about the level of investigative reporting, and now we see it seems like less experienced people. What do you see the state of TV today, and what do you see for the future? Are you worried about it, or?
Well, Allan, look, the state of journalism, broadcast and print, is dire right now, and unfortunately, the internet, this marvelous thing that allows us to talk to each other and and converse right now, even though we're not in the same place. This wonderful tool has essentially destroyed print journalism completely.
Yeah.
Detroit News and Free Press are skeletons of what they once were. TV news is not as bad, but you still have the problem of entities that are telling the world that we are here to help the public, that knowledge and information are key ingredients, and this is why we're here we can have an informed public. But realize that all those entities have been taken over by businessmen, and everything and everybody has to make money. And because of the internet and because of the ad revenue that it has sucked away from TV and print journalism, you don't have the kind of robust investigative people on the staff at the newspapers or the TV stations that you should have. That's just the truth.
I'm just going to say, you guys need to pat me on my back, because I talked about the internet and they want to shut me down about that. Listen, I didn't go to law school and pretend like I'm a smart person just to pretend like I'm a smart person. I'm a smart person.
You're a smart person.
Well, you know what? Any journalism schools left besides Northwestern, Missouri, and Syracuse?
Michigan State has a.
Well, yeah, the journalism schools left, but you don't find the same interest that you did before. Many of the people who once went into journalism with a big J now want to become influencers. Now want to host their own podcast. Now want to become their own stars. So there's a different mindset too that you'll find in the people today. And I think too, I have to be honest with you, with my kids, I did not encourage them to go into my profession because I could see the handwriting on the wall. I knew that over time it would be more difficult for these industries to make money, and therefore more difficult for people in those industries to make a living. So I encouraged him to do other things. My youngest son went into engineering. My oldest son went into advertising, but digital advertising. He's a media specialist across all platforms.
Well, let me ask you this. In print, it used to be in the day where some of the people would say, I'm not going into print, I'm going to TV. That's where the money is. Is there still the money that was there?
No. I'm very blessed. I never have to work again in my life. But the people that follow me, do not make the same salaries that Monica Gale and I make. No. And likely never will again. Now, if you are able to get on CNN, Fox, if you're able to get on the major network, yes, you can make good money, wonderful money. But on the local level, it's harder and harder to do.
Is local news dead?
No, not dead. It's never dead. No, because even though we don't have, I think, when I first started back here in 1989, we had, I think, an investigative staff of 5 or 6 reporters who concentrated on longer form stories, harder hitting journalism that would require them to be off the air for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time to get their story straight, the information straight, and to present it in a way that would compel the viewers. Now, when I left, I think we had just one person there full time in the investigative unit, and maybe somebody there who worked there part time. Turnaround time. Go ahead.
Explain to me this, and I've always been puzzled by this. Sometimes the investigative reporters do these great stories. I'd be watching at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I'd be watching, and you guys would have this great investigative piece, and I'd be like, wow, I've got to get that on Deadline Detroit. We want to aggregate it and put a video up there, and it wouldn't be on the website. And I'd call the station. They'd say, oh, we're going to put it up at like 3 a.m. and then it wouldn't be the top story. And I'd be like, you've got this investigative reporter, you've got this splashy story. And, the same thing with ML Elric. I told him the other day, he did a thing about nepotism. And, Coleman Young hiring his mother as chief of staff. And I said, that's a great story. That should be the top story. They ran it on page 4. I said, and I put it on Deadline because we're still posting some stuff. We probably got 7,000 hits from it. Why? I don't get why, when the stations invest so much money, when they did in investigative reporting, why they didn't display things better.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you this: that even our internet staff, we initially hired, I'd say, half a dozen people. That's been cut back too. Yeah. So you don't have it takes manual labor now to get a story, post it, and make sure it's in the proper position on your website. And you've got dozens of stories. And if you don't have the personnel to do it, the story that should be at the top of the list doesn't get there when it should be. Right. And that's just that's the nature of the beast. But you will find that with every station now. Every station has its website. Every station is looking for the magic formula, the algorithm, to make sure that viewers not only watch this on TV, but also go to the website too.
What don't you miss when you talk about you don't miss it? Was it the grueling hours of, and what kind of hours were you working back then?
No, it's not the hour, the pressure. And I loved it, but I also, at the age of 68, I was tired of it, because every day was a grind. Even the weekends were a grind, because you were always looking for the next headline, the next story. And you guys have hosted shows like this before, so you're always looking for that next piece of topic, that interest, that personality, whatever, that you can put on to attract viewers. That's all.
And did you enjoy the celebrityness of, like, you go to a mall and someone, did you ever feel like your privacy was sort of taken away, or did you enjoy it?
It's a great blessing. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had known that, because I would see you and I was like, I'm not going to bother him because I know he's used to people. But now, dang, and now you're not even here. Anyway, I want to ask you a question. Seriously. So I know you have your JD and you're a journalist.
No, I didn't. I did not. My senior year.
Okay.
Look, great story very quickly. My mentor, Cyril Vetter, was an attorney who was able to buy a TV station from his cousin who was going bankrupt. He hired me initially as a reporter. He said, look, you can work for me at night and go to law school during the day. Once you get your degree, you can become the station attorney, and then I can go to Florida and collect the checks.
Wow.
But little did he know back then that there were people who went around the country videotaping me. Somebody videotaped me, sent my tape to Maggott and Associates in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Somebody from St. Louis saw it. He flew down to Baton Rouge and offered me more money than I could have made as an attorney.
And you took it.
Awesome.
I took it.
Okay, because I always wondered, how did that happen? Okay.
Look, I followed the money, and I thought I'd just do it for, I said, well, I'm just going to do this for 1 or 2 years, and then I'm going back. No, I stayed in it because the money kept growing. So,
wow.
Well, you had a niche. Let me ask you this. How did you come up with Let It Rip?
It was initially a corporate-wide decision that every Fox-owned affiliate, every Fox O&O, would do a program that featured conversations in which the anchors and reporters could talk about the stories of the day. we initially started Let It Rip as a 15-minute segment. And I would be on with Dan Miller, the sports guy, with Rich Luderman, the weather guy, and maybe one other reporter. And we just talk about the stories of the day. And we would everybody would get like 1 or 2 minutes to comment. And then we'd ring a bell and then we'd go to the next subject. Bing! That's how Let It Rip started. But then Kwame Kilpatrick was indicted. And what started out as a 15-minute segment got longer. And it really took off, Adolph, when I started inviting people who were involved in the scandal, people who supported Kwame, and people who were trying to put him behind bars on the same panel at the same time. That is when Let It Rip exploded in popularity and became a 30-minute show.
Yeah. And that became a very popular segment of Fox too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I had the occasion to be on a couple times. I really enjoyed it.
We loved having you on, and Adolph, you've been on too. Yes,
you was the ringmaster.
But it was having guys like you and Allan on is what made the show. You know, all I had to do was set it up, and you guys would light it up.
And Steve Hood was a great. Steve Hood was a great guest.
He was great, and look, his death was one of the reasons I decided to retire.
Oh wow!
When I lost my good friend Steve Hood, you know, I said, look, I'm not going to be on this earth forever. Let me take some time to live.
Yeah.
And
I miss him.
Yeah.
I miss him too. But let me tell you about Steve and why I love this man so, and why I'm tearing right now. Because yes, he knew how to live. He had a great time in life. When he was dying of cancer, I said, you know, Steve, you know, I love you, man. How do you feel? How do you approach it? He said, look, man, I'm losing a lot of weight, and I'm getting more women talking to me than ever before. That was Steve. That was Steve. And I have been in rooms where people are dying and they're begging and pleading for God to give them one more day, one more second. Steve, he said, I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss it. But he was ready. He was ready and grateful for the life he had been given. And I will never forget that.
I regret when he was sick, he had invited me over and I never made it over. And I really regret that I didn't go over there. So, I can't thank you enough. I always love talking. I hope we can get together when you come back. Thanks so much. Good luck taking care of your mother. Very, very admirable.
Well, you've been through it, Allan. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. And you know too that you and I are both blessed to have parents who face their mortality with courage, faith, and humor.
Absolutely.
And that is a blessing too.
That's all you can do.
And she gave birth to a great son. So
yeah, I'm aspiring to be. But look, Ramadan Mubarak, Shabbat Shalom, and Happy Easter.
All right,
you take care.
Thanks for coming.
Have a great Easter. Thanks so much, you. I appreciate it.
And no question. Thank you. Let's
right,
take a break. Joe.
We're
gonna take a break. That was good. You Let It Rip.
Nearly 30,000 vacant lots all over the city of Detroit are for sale right now. That's right. Nearly 30,000 vacant lots are available now, starting at just $100. The lot next to your house or the lot down the street. Make it yours today in just a few simple clicks. Find out if it is available by visiting buildingdetroit.org. At the Detroit Land Bank Authority, side lots are just $100 and neighborhood lots sell for $250. You can apply and pay online today by visiting buildingdetroit.org. And if you don't see the lot you're looking for, call our offices. Our phone number is 313-974-6869. Again, that is 313-974-6869. We have already sold more than 21,000 vacant lots to Detroit homeowners. Make today your turn by visiting buildingdetroit.org.
Hypnotized.
Okay, we are back. We're going to bring in a couple folks into the studio here.
We have DeLonda Little, and we have Marvin Essix. DeLonda Little, welcome this morning. I'm so happy to be here. DeLonda was the first female referee for boys basketball here in the state of Michigan.
No, we get it.
Not my phone.
Yeah,
let's see what we got. I'm out of the video. So. Anyways, yeah. Okay. We're a little
right. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes.
Women's History Month. Came there, first female basketball referee. She has a history of playing basketball at Wayne State University as a basketball scholarship. She's referee. She was at the Final Four last week. I could go on and on about Little as we call her. And we also have Marvin Essix, who is a former, he is a basketball coach at UU High School. He's done some community college. He's also done some semi-pro coaching. So both of them are here. And the reason that they're here is Allan, we talked about the state of basketball. In particular, we talked about the Detroit Pistons, and I was having a conversation with one. They said, hey, we talk about the state of basketball here in Detroit high school. So I thought it was very fitting that we invite both DeLonda Little and Marvin Essix to the show. Welcome.
Okay.
One second.
All right. We'll have a little bit. Okay. DeLonda, can you hear us? DeLonda? Marvin, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, they can't hear us.
He said he can hear.
Can you hear us, Marvin?
Okay.
Yes, I
Go
can.
ahead, Mark.
Yes, I can.
Okay, we can't hear him though.
Go ahead and speak.
We can't hear him.
Can you? Oh,
Okay, you good, Marvin. Go ahead.
Sounds great.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
All right.
You hear me?
Okay.
Yep.
yeah, we can. We can't get DeLonda though.
Yeah.
What, Marvin, was your record as a coach worse than the Pistons?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I won more games than them on the weekends.
And where were you coaching? Where were you coaching at?
Well, I had the opportunity to coach most of the high schools in the city of Detroit, also some AAU basketball.
Hold on 1 second.
Hey, Joe. Why don't you kick brother? Yeah, you're
Get up.
all right. We're sorry about that. We were just having a little. DeLonda's, I think her car speaker is popping in, but go ahead. So, anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah, so I said I coach most of the city of Detroit, Detroit Renaissance, Persian, also in Southfield, Lathrop, Redford, Thurston. Those are some of the high schools I coached.
Okay. And how long were you coaching for?
I've been coaching for over 30 years, AAU basketball, travel basketball as well. So I did some semi-pro, Oakland Community College, Wayne Community College, and so semi-pro with Motor City Falcons.
Okay. And at the lower level, did any of your players ever make it to the pro or make it big time in college?
Yes, we had a few. Crystal Bradford was one of the ones most recently that got drafted by the LA Sparks. a few years back. But we had a lot of great kids that made it to college, free education. So that was really our biggest thing.
Okay, and any difference in the skills over the years? I know when we went to Hope Park, I came back years later and people were dunking and doing all this stuff that we never saw when we went to high school. Have you seen a progression of a better talent, or is that just?
My assessment now, I would have to say that the skill level has went down. I don't think we're putting as much energy and time and working on skill sets. And we have kids that's athletic by nature, but just getting in the gym and putting more work in, we're not getting as much of that. And that's girls and boys.
Then it used to be, Marvin, that when the kid played sports, they played at least 2 sports. They were well-rounded. They might have been great at basketball, but they also was. When I was in high school, Campy Russell was a hell of a basketball player, but he was a hell of a high jumper in track too, all state, And now you only see, I only play football, I only play basketball, I only play baseball. You don't see that multi-sports.
Well, growing up in our neighborhood, you played everything. When you got out of the house, whatever was happening today, baseball, football, basketball, you were doing it. So if you want to be around the kids, you had to learn how to play different sports.
No question. Now we got
DeLonda on. Hey, DeLonda.
Hi.
DeLonda, what's
Hi,
going on,
guys.
Miss D Little? I called myself trying to give you a great introduction so you could fill us in, and we're going to start asking you questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, let me ask you this. Get right to the point. What was the big deal about the sister?
Let's talk about DeLonda first and her history. Let's talk about her history. Come on, D.
Tell us a little bit about you're sort of a pioneer there in officiating. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so first of all, I've been officiating 20 years. This is my 20th year, and I'm kind of excited about it. Time really flies fast. I started out doing, of course, high school basketball, and then I, accelerated to the college ranks, and so now I do women's college as well. The last event in which you guys are speaking of, where I became this trailblazer that I wasn't aware was coming, but I was the first woman to officiate a boys basketball state final game. And in 28 years, they had one female who was there in 1995, and she, from rumors says, she didn't really do a great job. And I don't know if that's absolutely the reason why they never sent anybody else back. But that's the highlight of what happened to me most recently.
What game was that?
That was, which one did I do?
Yeah.
I refereed the Flint Beecher versus St. Francis Traverse City.
Okay.
And how did the players?
It was considered to be the Class C, or what we used to call Class C, but it's Division III now. So yeah, it was a really good game, actually, really competitive.
And you as a woman, how did the players respond, and how do the other referees respond to you? Is it just are you just one of the guys there, or?
Well, you know what, I was, because actually I've been officiating boys basketball for a majority of my career, actually, which was it was kind of weird because I've been very comfortable for about 10 years at minimum. I must say now, as a female, when you're out there, you are. Of course, they always say a coach has, and Marvin can probably attest to this, a coach always find a referee on the court that they kind of challenge or want to test, or, and so a lot of times it's the female. And like I said, for me, I was trained by some of the best male officials, and I'm going to say Raymond Kelser to name one, and, Philip Miller, just a couple of good guys that do college basketball, but also do high school, and they kind of mentored me and pulled me along. So when I was doing boys basketball, I was working with some of the best officials in Detroit, right? But so right now, I'm gonna say at this stage in my career, I've always done way more boys basketball than I did girls. And so I had Flint Beecher in tournaments for, I'm gonna say, probably I've been repping their boys games for about 8 years now. Now they had a new coach, which was there, but he was pretty familiar with me. They knew that I think both coaches, meaning St. Francis and Flint Beecher, knew that that was my first time for a female out there. So I think that, you know, they was real, you know, receptive. They asked questions when they did, but I didn't really get any feedback or lash out during that game. And I'm gonna just say this: most coaches try to be on their best behavior when they're in Lansing. So I mean, I think that helped. But the St. Francis coach, I had heard he was a really good guy. And normally, and what you guys probably don't know, as officials, we kind of do a pregame before we actually referee. We kind of talk about the players, who's the best players, what the coaches do, and, you know, if we're going to have to issue any technicals or who the problem players are. So we kind of go into a game knowing, you know, having an expectation of what we can possibly get into while we out there. But, you know, I had a pretty good run, and it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it.
All right. So now you want to?
No, I want to ask my question.
Should we? And then we'll play a video after your question.
Well,
go ahead, Marvin.
Let me comment on it. As coaches, we have a pregame as well. We get into our huddles and we talk about which referees we can challenge, which one's going to take stuff, which ones are not. So we already go into it with the mindset like, if D here, we got to be careful because she got a short trigger sometimes, you know. So,
she ever kick you out the game, man?
I wouldn't let her kick me out. I think she tried a couple times, but I had the benefit of actually coaching when she was refereeing and playing as well. So I've seen her in a lot of different lights. So we got a decent rapport.
We do.
Very cool.
And unfortunately, or you can say fortunately, I've only kicked out one coach in my career. So I don't know if that's bad.
What coach was that?
Huh?
What coach was that?
He was the AAU coach. I can't even remember his name now. I haven't seen him in a few years. Not even sure if he's. I'm gonna just say the AAU referees basketball circuit sometimes can hurt you in your career as a referee, or it can make you better because it definitely teaches you how to game management, you know, because you got to deal with parents that don't know any of the rules, the coaches who think they know everything and don't know nothing. And then you just got people who lingering around just to come to mess with the referees. So, you know, you got to learn how to manage that part and then decide who's going to stay and who's going to leave, because those people will just lash out all kinds of stuff while you officiating the game, and you gotta, you know, sometimes you can't have that because it's a trickling effect. So it was on the AAU circuit, and sometimes it can help you because you see some of the best basketball in AAU, right? And that's, you know, you see a lot of the top players, you know, that compete, and so it can help you in that part, you know, as in terms of officiating.
How has the girls' basketball in high school evolved in your 20 years since you started out?
Oh, wow. So when I first started, you know, you had Southfield, Lathrop, you had so many great teams, Renaissance,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Marv, right. You know, I'm just saying, like, we talked about this recently, a few of us referees. It's funny you would ask me that because I feel like it's definitely just it's on a decline, and like it's bad because the basketball is so bad. Like right now we don't have very many women officials who like to do the girls basketball games anymore, and the guys, they were already, some of them really didn't want to work girls basketball anyway because it was bad. But now it's like, so it's at its all-time, in my opinion, all-time worst. It's the skill level. I don't think the work ethic is there. And it's just bad basketball. I mean, you get some teams that you know, that are, you know, mediocre. I say mediocre. They can compete. But when you start talking about talent and top teams, I remember there was at least 10 or 12 great top teams. But now it's like, I can't even, you know, I don't even know who the top teams are. That's you know, I will almost say Detroit Edison always had a pretty good program. Right. But I'm just, you know, thinking across the state now, it's just not as good as it used to be. And it's unfortunate for our girls.
But before Detroit Edison, Southfield Lathrop, since y'all brought them up, was the 2005 state champions. I was assistant coach on that team.
Yeah.
And we had an excellent group of girls. And like she said, the talent level has decreased. And I just don't think they're putting in the time. And we're dealing with issues with coaching as well. Like these girls not getting the same type of tutelage. And it's a natural hunger that they should have, but coaches and their surroundings should actually bring more to the table to kind of elevate their game. Me and Dee was at a semifinal game. She didn't see me this year. And they had a young lady that was about 6'1", 6'2", and she never raised her hand the whole time throughout the game. Like, never asked for the ball the whole time. And I'm like, that's a coaching situation. You know, I'm not trying to be funny, but that's coaching. Because that girl arm would never come down if I was coaching her, you know.
And she's long. She's not 6'1", but she's long with long arms, and you know.
Let's talk about. We're gonna show a video of we talking about the NCAA women's championship. Right. Go ahead with the video, and then we'll come back and get y'all comments.
Delivered high drama. It was Kim Mulkey and unsung hero Jasmine Carson leading the Tigers past Caitlin Clark in Iowa 102-85 in the highest scoring national title for total points scored in a single men's or women's NCAA tournament all time. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, a 6'3" forward who transferred to LSU this season after 2 years at Maryland, had 15 points, 10 rebounds, and late in the game, she gave wrestling star John Cena's "You Can't See Me" hand motion toward Caitlin Clark, giving her a taste of her own medicine after Caitlin did that to Louisville in the Elite Eight, and then Reese motioned to a ring finger to symbolize the national championship ring she will be receiving. Here's both of them on that moment after the game.
Caitlin Clark is a hell of a player for sure, but I don't take disrespect lightly, and she disrespected Alexis and my girls. South Carolina, they still my SEC girls too. Y'all not gonna disrespect them either. So I wanted to pick her pocket, but I had a moment at the end of the game, and I was in my bag. I was in my moment. Yeah.
Caitlin, can you tell us at the end of the game what happened? There's a lot blown up on Twitter about Angel Reese following you around, pointing to her ring finger and taunting you.
Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line and shake hands and, you know, be grateful that my team was in that position. You know, that's all you can do is, you know, hold your head high, be proud of what you did, and, you know, all the credit in the world to LSU, you know.
Yeah. Was that overblown, what the young lady did, or was that just part of the game?
Well, I would say it's just part of the game. I mean, we've gotten waved off, pushed away, fingers, he can't shoot. That's just a part of the game. I think both of the ladies handled it well. They both understood the moment. I think the media kind of took it to a level that made it more than what it was.
Yeah, Larry Bird daughter's pretty good, isn't she?
Yeah, Lady Bird.
Yep.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Daughter, but anyway, go ahead.
No, I was saying I totally agree. I think the media took that to another level, and I don't know, and this is my thought. At first I was thinking, you know, they tried to make it a black and white issue, right? And then they made it where they felt like Angel was trying to taunt her, okay? And maybe she was, but here's the thing. Caitlin never even really looked in her direction. So it really was just her putting her finger up and doing whatever and waving her hand. They can say Caitlin did it in her game, but I think how Angel did it, she probably shouldn't have went walking toward her. Okay, because when Caitlin did her little ring hand or whatever it is that they're doing, I don't even know what it is that they're doing, but she didn't do it in someone else's, you know, walk up on somebody and do it that way.
Well, now, wait a minute. You know, I'm not trying to be funny. You know,
you
as black,
you are trying to be funny.
As black folks, you know, as women, we extra. What was wrong with what Angel did? I would have done the same thing.
I didn't say nothing was wrong with it. I'm not saying nothing is wrong with it. I'm saying
got a ring.
Well, I'm not saying it was something wrong with it. I'm saying it was made to be as if she did something wrong because, like I said, Caitlin wasn't even paying attention. So who's offended? You understand what I'm saying?
Somebody just wanted to make
somebody watching.
They just wanted to make a molehill out of nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
It's sports. It's sports.
Right.
People have some
we've
fun.
Been talking crap for years in women's basketball, but because we have Bayou Barbie, which I believe maybe they felt like women, because she's a pretty girl, and you know what I mean. Maybe we shouldn't handle ourselves that way, but. What is there a certain look we supposed to have in order to talk trash? You know what I'm saying? When I played, it was women talking trash all the time, waving you off, cussing you out, and everything.
Listen, when I was coming up, I remember, never forget this. In junior high, we had a guy, we call him the Deuce. We was playing our little rival junior high. He was at the free throw line to win the game, and the crowd was booing him and all kind of stuff. He just calmly made the baskets, turned around and said, "You used to do that. You small." He shut him up. He shut him up. So they've been doing it, and they still gonna do it.
Exactly.
And that's the nature of the game.
I was going to say, I was watching 60 Minutes. They were interviewing Charles Barkley. He was talking about Larry Bird, and he was saying, "Oh my God, Larry Bird was the biggest trash talker." Yeah. And then he says, one day, Larry Bird says to me on the court, he says, "Man, you are disrespecting me." And Charles Barkley says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Yeah, you're putting a white guy on me to cover me." He goes, "That's disrespectful. A white guy can't cover me, man."
Oh, wow.
That's funny.
Let me ask you guys
some of our best talent around the country are trash talkers. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And some of the greats, they're some of the biggest trash talkers in the game.
Okay,
Right.
so my last question: what do you guys think about Angel's response to Jill Biden inviting both teams to the White House?
I love it.
What's your take?
I think she was spot on. I think it was the time to make a statement. She made it at the right time. She had the support of her team and her coaches behind her. So I thought it was an excellent time to make that statement. And it should bode well in the future for future presidents or White House ladies or personnel. Don't do that.
Well, they listen. Grandma don't need to be talking about.
He's so discriminatory. You guys have to excuse him.
Listen, she don't know anything about sports. This is not the NCAA is not a participation tournament where everybody gets a trophy.
You're sending the wrong language. To me, you're sending the wrong message.
Listen, everybody's a winner.
Should go.
Somebody got to lose. You
can't
give everybody a trophy. You can't.
And I was reading something where, and I don't know if I saw a video or a clip or something. There's been so much stuff behind this NCAA thing, but it was something to say that Jill had kind of, and maybe you guys can feed off of it, but she had kind of said she wasn't stating that Iowa should be there as well, but kind of was making reference to it be a good idea if both teams came to the White House. Did anybody?
She said that after she kept getting dogged out. Right. She made that
was a walk back.
She thought about it. She walked it back. Her husband never said that, but she did. And to me, your husband and wife, y'all team, y'all said it together.
Quick question to D Little. When are we going to see a woman in the major leagues behind the plate calling?
You know what? That's a good question. I'm not a baseball person. By no means. I played softball in high school, but I didn't know that they did not have one, so I have no idea.
They got them in the minor leagues.
Okay.
And women are playing hockey. They playing all these sports, and they should get these opportunities. And people say, "Oh, a woman shouldn't coach a men's basketball team." But who's the majority of the coaches of the women's basketball team are men.
Right. Yep.
What's good for the goose should be good for the gander.
Yep.
And I just went to a game the other day, and there was 2 lady officials at the Pistons game. So they're moving up in the ranks, and they're getting more
one
time.
of them I trained. One of them I trained.
Sweet.
Yep, it's Jenna Schroeder. She's from this area.
I think the Pistons they won the other day. I think they finally got their 17th victory.
It was a mistake.
Well, you know what's happening? They're sending the Pistons back. They relocating to Fort Wayne, where they came from. But anyway, I want to thank you, Marvin and D Little. Hey, listen, we got to do this again.
Right, you guys
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Do us a favor. Do us a big favor. Go on. either Deadline Detroit or Detroit in Black and White. Like, share, subscribe, tell others. Every Saturday, 10 to 11:30, we're here live. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right.
And I want to thank all the people that's listening to us, especially my friends downriver. Hey, I got to give y'all a plug.
Downriver crew.
Teresa, Jim. But anyway, thank you, D. Little. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
And you'll
as we
thank
come,
you, Huel
Perkins, and
well.
all the people that's listening to us and commenting on Facebook, on we're
on Instagram,
Telegram,
Facebook,
Michaelgram.
But listen, there are people who said that they want to call in. Reggie Amos, I hope you're watching. I did send you the link to log in. People who want to do their outrage, guess what? You can do your outrage. You can give them the directions how to do it.
You can do a little selfie video. Hold your phone this way. Keep it under 60 seconds. If you email it to DetroitInBlackAndWhite@gmail.com, we can put it on the air, as long as it's not too outrageous. As long as you don't attack us.
Right.
Well, you can attack us, but
we got.
you can attack these two.
Well, you can attack me. Listen,
we got you. If they attack you, we got you.
Right. But you could send in your comments if you have an outrage, you want to comment about something or something that we've talked about before, you want to respond to something, we can. So again, do a little selfie video. Keep it under 60 seconds. You hold it with the one button, the one knob, as opposed to keep that on the top. And you can email it again to Detroit and Black and White. I'm sorry. So screen there at gmail.com.
And I believe. Okay.
Anyway,
final thoughts, Allan.
I'm just going to go back to the nepotism thing. Really, I think the city council has to get their act together and start implementing rules that give integrity to, it doesn't matter if it's all, I mean, Coleman Young's mother, I'm sure, as Adolph has said, is very competent. And I'm sure she's doing a great job, but it's not the right thing to do. It looks bad. It makes Detroit look like a small podunk town.
When she say, you need to vote on that, Coleman. Yes, mommy.
we need, and he's not the only one there doing it. And there's probably even more than were exposed in Elrich's column there. And we need to have integrity in the city of Detroit.
Well, we need to look at the mayor's office.
Yeah,
we need to look at the.
I'm sorry.
I can tell you in DC.
I do not support that there is no integrity.
Wait till your time comes.
I can I can just say in DC with Marion Barry, who is a very
don't talk about my boy Marion
interesting
Barry.
guy, which I occasionally would have to interview for something. People didn't want to move into the city. Businesses didn't want to come into the city because they had a guy who they didn't trust, who had a questionable checkered past. And we need to have business people know when they come to the city of Detroit, they're dealing with a transparent government where everything's on the up and up. And as citizens, we want to know that. And again, I'm not saying these people are dishonest, but the perception is not good.
Okay, go ahead.
My final thought: have a wonderful weekend and a happy Easter. And I'm always going to take the opposite approach. Period.
My final thought: they need to get rid of law schools and the diplomas and stuff. And now, anyway, to all those would-be fascists out there in America, I mean, man, they want to turn this into a police state. They want to make women slaves. They want to go back to the days of Jim Crow. There was no Holocaust. Nobody was lynched. Anne Frank was a terrorist. This is what we're dealing with. And we got to get it together. We got to vote. We got to elect people who looks out for the interests of its people, And we got to stop saying, "Oh, Democrat or Republican," because we got some fucked up people on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely,
and they not doing shit but causing chaos in this country. So we'll be back next week.
Right.
Detroit in black and white. Allan Lengel, Vanessa Moss, Adolph Mongo, and 10 a.m. Tune in. We'll
See
be
you
here
next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.